What's going on, guys? Didn't think I was gonna make a video this quickly, but I wanted to make a video about the Trump effect. Very happy about the outcomes of this election for financial purposes. This is going to be great for the next 2 years, especially that now you need to also understand that Trump didn't just win. I did bet on a Trump win. I was correct on that, but I absolutely did not see the huge red wave that happened. And the reason why it's important, this is not a political bias, but you just need to understand what it means to the environment, right? And so basically, Trump is going to have control of the House and the Senate, if I'm not mistaken, in the same time for the first 2 years of his term. And that's what the Trump effect is going to be. And I believe that he's basically going to pump the financial markets for the next 2 years. He's going to basically be able to do whatever he wants, right? So if you're triggered by this video, well, you can F off and go watch another video on another channel. I'm here to make money. In the last video I made, one day before the election, I showed you guys the seasonality, and I already talked about the window of strength that we are entering in for the next 6 months to the upside in broad financial markets. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. So first and foremost, I wanted to talk obviously about Tesla, and I just wanted to show you guys that I made a video 6 months ago right here, guys. Right here, I highly recommend you go watch it. And yeah, in this video, I basically told you guys to buy Tesla, and I said that it was going to be the bottom for the stock. You had 6 months to accumulate. Hopefully you bought like me. In my humble opinion, obviously Tesla is one of the #1 stock pick for the next 2 years because of Trump winning and Elon Musk backing him. So that was an obvious trade. It will continue being a great trade. So just wanted to quickly say that every dip for Tesla will be a dip buying opportunity, so do not fumble the bag. In this video, I basically said it was going to go back to the means and that it was undervalued. And I'm going to show you basically where we are at the present moment. So this was basically my target right here, 290, 300. We're above that. So Tesla is no longer undervalued, despite all the analysts on TV saying that you should buy it and it's undervalued. It is no longer undervalued, right? Those are the same people that were nowhere near to be found when Tesla was actually undervalued, right? And now those are the same people telling you to buy, right? So you got to be careful, and hopefully you're going to learn how to properly trade the market watching my YouTube channel. And that's the point of it. It's not just to make myself better and to record myself to see my accuracy, but it's also to try to help other people learn how to properly trade. And as you guys can see, my target is in the $500 for Tesla. It was. We are already almost at 400, guys. So for me personally, I now think that $500 most likely will not be the top for the price of Tesla. But minimum, worst case scenario for me, we top at $500 a share. That's why I was telling you guys to buy at these levels. All right, so short term, obviously Tesla, we're almost at a 4 sigma for standard deviation. So obviously this is not sustainable. It's a short squeeze. So hopefully you did well on the stock like me. Personally, in my humble opinion, I think Tesla should be a 10% weighting in your portfolios for the next 2 years, minimum the next 6 months, that's for sure. Afterwards, obviously things change, market can change, environment can change. But for now, that's my personal opinion. This is not financial advice. This is just what I'm doing, what I already did actually. So, you know, I'm pretty good right now. Obviously, I'm not adding, but I will be adding on dips. Obviously, right now, though, the means right here in the middle, which is where price always revert, is 22% lower than where we are right now. And then just before I finish with Tesla, because I'm not going to spend too much time on it, this is not what I want to spend the entire video on. I want to talk about everything basically that is going to be impacted by the Trump effect, right? So just to finish the subject, as you guys can see, it basically is doing exactly what I said Tesla was going to do 6 months ago. So hopefully you listen. And yeah, right now we're in the C to D leg, and yeah, so we're basically doing exactly what I said was going to happen. I'm expecting a pullback, and as I was saying, we are now above the means, which is the middle line right here, which is the pink one for this indicator. Yeah, you know, so we are about 8.6% above the fair value of Tesla as we speak. So not necessarily a good time, in my humble opinion, to add to the position yet until we have a correction. All right, so next subject for the Trump effect, guys. Obviously, Bitcoin. I also believe you want to have a 10% weighting in Bitcoin in your portfolio. That was my position months ago. I did trim, take a lot of profit months ago when we were in these ranges. I have been adding back. I never sold all my position. I would never do that, but I did trim relative weakness like Ethereum. And by the way, stick in the video because you guys know my personal thought on Ethereum. I still think it's piece of crap blockchain, but I have completely changed my mind on Ethereum, and I'm going to explain to you guys why. It's not because I did a 180 on the fundamentals or on the technical. It is because of option trading, guys, and this is something I'm going to talk about right after, so do stick around. It's going to be super important, and it has a direct impact from the Trump effect because there's going to be less regulation under the Trump administration, and they are pro crypto. So there is one thing I was completely wrong about Trump winning. I knew he was going to win. I didn't think he was going to win by that much. And because of that, I kind of sandbagged my own predictions. And I realized I did do a mistake, and I'm going to talk about that mistake right after. But right now, I'm just going to focus quickly on Bitcoin. We finally, guys, broke this very strong resistance. Okay, guys, and I expect this resistance to become support as well. We should be correcting, and I'm going to show you guys why based on liquidity. But before that, just want to show good news. Retail is back, baby. And then also wanted to show you guys another one, which is a Solana coin search term, right? It's also picking up steam, as you guys can see. So retail is coming back. And this is why it's such a good news, is that when you look at, I really like this this chart right here from Benjamin Cohen. The new YouTube views, right, on crypto channels, right, is still very low, guys. So we're, when we're topping in Bitcoin, it's usually, when we're at these crazy levels where, retail is all in, buying 10, 20 different coins a week, right? Having no idea what the hell they're doing, right? And right now, guys, we're still super low. So in retail is coming back, the retail interest, but we're not near crazy level. All right, so now just quickly before I change subject, technically on the short term, right, you guys can see we are above the second standard deviation of the probabilities. So obviously based on probability, short term, we should revert back to the means and into this red box right here, and I'm going to show you why. So if we look at the liquidity heat map on the short term for Bitcoin, there is now way more liquidity on the downside, right? So target price about 73,000, 75,000 in that ballpark before we go back up. So just short term, a little bit of liquidation to the downside. Maybe if we're lucky, touch the means of the probability of distribution right here in this ballpark, right? And then in my humble opinion, every dip is a dip buy, and we're gonna go higher from there. And also looking at the flow, guys, of a traditional market, I just want to give a shout out to Ozzy on Twitter. He does really good artistic charts, right? Where I agree 100% with the flows that he's talking about, but I like how he kind of actually draws it on his chart. I really like that, and I like the way he's sharing it and the way he's explaining stuff. And right now we are entering basically a period of digestion and kind of going nowhere for the next week most likely, and afterwards we're going to enter a small seasonal, not seasonal, but like the last 2 weeks of November should be a little bit softer, and that will be a nice little dip to add again to your positions. In my humble opinion, that's what I'm waiting for. And yeah, so we should enter also a small window of weakness on the short term, right? And in the same time, looking at liquidity for Bitcoin, it's to the downside. Short term, it's not a lot, it's a couple of percentage point, and it's going to be a nice buying opportunity. And that's pretty much it for Bitcoin, guys. Before I start with Ethereum and Solana, which is really good news that I did not forecast at all, I was completely wrong on that in a good way. I just wanted to change subject also and talk about other things, right, that are going to perform very well under a Trump administration, right? Because that's the goal of my channel, right? Like it's to make money. And right now, financials, banks usually tend to perform very well under a Republican president. And also just looking at the track record of Trump when he was president from 2017 to 2020, something like that, banks perform very well under a Trump administration. And at the moment, in my humble opinion, I think that the most undervalued bank stock is TD, guys. TD stock, it's a great ad right now. The market structure on the daily just shift positive as well. Obviously, we had, the money laundering news that was horrible. The stock is down a lot. I have been buying here. I will continue adding. It's paying a 4.3% dividend right now, which is really, really good. So in my humble opinion, this is a better buy than buying bonds. If you want to add bonds allocation for diversification in your portfolio, I would just buy TD stock. At the end of the day, yes, the news was horrible. They paid the price. They had to sell Thinkorswim to Schwab, if I'm not mistaken, for $3 billion, and then take that money to pay the US government for their $3 billion fine of money laundering, money from cartel, which is horrible. But at the end of the day, you need to also understand how the market works. The market is forward looking, and what matters for the price of a stock is the uncertainty. TD stock no longer has uncertainty, right? It's done. It's fini. We all know. So once the bad news is known, even if it's bad, it's the bottom, in my humble opinion. So right now, TD is really interesting to me, especially if you kind of just compare it to Royal Bank. You see, look at Royal Bank, how high it is compared to TD, right? If I go back to TD, you'll see that TD right now is discounted, right? Because of, the bad stuff they were doing. But in my humble opinion, it is now a buying opportunity. So I have been buying, and 4.3% dividend is worth it. It's better than buying bonds, in my humble opinion. And on top of that, dividends are taxed less than interest, right? So on top of that, it's kind of a double whammy because you get a higher dividend rate than the interest you would get on a 5 or 10-year bond in Canada. You're better off just sticking with TD, and you get pay less taxes on the dividend, right? So it's a double whammy, in my humble opinion. And then other stocks that are going to perform very, very well under Trump for the next 6 months, in my humble opinion, is Coinbase. Talked about this, a while. I traded, got in, got out. A little bit sour because I did get out here. I bought here, I got out here. We're way higher. It happens, but you will never go broke taking profit, right? So right now, obviously, coin based on probability has gone way too high. But bigger picture, if you just look at the market cap, I think it has a 60 billion market cap. That's cheap, guys. If the broad crypto market cap, goes to $5-10 trillion, you need to understand that's going to have a direct impact on the market cap of Coinbase. So that could bring Coinbase to easily a 200 billion market cap. So it still has a lot of potential to the upside. I am expecting a pullback, which will be a buying opportunity. And a lot of people also have been pointing out that, this is a huge head and shoulder, and in the spirit of a huge head and shoulder, and they're not wrong, right? So this I don't know what's going on with the chart, but you get what I'm saying. And if that is the case, based on the spirit of a head and shoulder, we could go into the $400-500 per share easily if we do break this neckline. And then you have Robinhood, right? Also kind of sour. They had very good money on Robinhood. I actually sold here. I kind of regret not buying here, and now it's at $30. But hey, you'll never go broke taking profit, but definitely on my watch list to add back into the position. Very strong market structure as well, as you guys can see. All right, so that's going to be it for that. Now we're going to get in the most important part, because before I bore you to death. So Ethereum, guys. So as you guys know, I have been trashing Ethereum for a while. I sold most of my Ethereum here, right? And then we had this big correction, right? A lot of relative weakness compared to Bitcoin. Really not something you want to see. Obviously here we could get rejected, and we're now at a third standard deviation, right, on the daily time frame, which is really not something you want to chase. But I'm going to explain to you why I am wrong about Ethereum. And I figured this because of a Trump win. Okay, so I did not do a 180 on my position when it comes to the fundamentals of this blockchain or the technicals of this blockchain. The only reason why it has way more value than I thought is because of the traditional financial market getting in this space. And what I mean by that, it's all about the ATF, guys. Okay, and this is why I have been buying for the past couple of days in this ballpark before we close that gap. So we just closed the gap right here. So the market tends to always fill gaps. So that's what we did. We filled this gap right here. I bought before at about 21 something, right? I'm hoping for a pullback. And the reason why I got back in Ethereum, guys, is because of option contracts. And this is why Ethereum has value for this cycle. And right now, there's a reason why we keep bidding like crazy on this ATF. It's because it's extremely cheap and you have very sophisticated players and big players that understand that, and they just want to buy as much lots as they can at the cheapest price to then sell covered calls against their position and to play on the volatility side of Ethereum. Okay? And this was my mistake, is that I underestimated a Trump win. And what I mean by that is, so I was expecting the options for the Bitcoin ATF and the options for the Ethereum ATF to happen, if we were lucky, maybe in January, February of 2025. With this type of win and the control of the House and the Senate, I wouldn't be surprised to see these options happen way quicker than we all think is going to happen. And that's where the money's at for Ethereum. And that's why it actually has value. To be clear here, I am not talking about spot Ethereum. I am talking about the US ATF of BlackRock on Ethereum, guys. You need to understand, in the option world, right, value is a little bit different, right? When you have something that's $22, even right now after this run up, it's extremely cheap, right? I've been buying lots because of that. A lot is 100 shares, right? 100 shares times $22, that's 2,200. That's nothing, guys. So these big players and these big funds, they can buy thousands of these lots and just sell covered calls for their clients. So that's why it has value. And that's what I realized like 2 days ago. That's why I was buying like about here. My entry is horrible based on probabilities. You will never see me do this except when we have such a strong narrative. And I obviously didn't go all in. I'm waiting for a nice little pullback to continue buying lots of the ATF of Ethereum, because once those options are available, it's going to be nuts, guys. And then I wanted to talk about the last puzzle, right? Obviously, Solana. And the second thing I was completely wrong about is Solana, the ATF, not the price, right? I haven't sold my position. I'm still extremely bullish. I haven't changed my mind, but there's one thing I completely underestimated. And again, it's because of the Trump effect. I did not expect a Solana ATF to happen in 2025. I am now expecting a Solana ATF to happen. I don't know if it's going to be BlackRock. Larry Fink has been vocal, if I'm not mistaken, saying that he did not want a Solana ETF for BlackRock at the present moment. But could you see Vanek, ARK Invest, and these other bigger institutional players get that ETF in the next 2 months? Absolutely. And I think we're going to see exactly that. So that is going to be insane. Don't forget, the market cap of Solana is only 80 billion, guys. Okay? Do you know how easy this thing is to move to the upside if we actually get ETFs in the next 2 months? Right? I could be wrong, but if I'm not, that's going to be crazy. We're going to see some insane moves in the price action of Solana. So that's pretty much it, guys. Sorry if it's super long, very messy video. There's just a lot of stuff to talk about. And just wanted to talk about things that I was correct on and things I was wrong on. But hopefully the things that I was wrong on, right, it's not negative. It's actually in a positive way. So hopefully you have a great weekend. Take care and stay blessed.